it just dawned on me that neurodivergent people feeling normal when drinking is enough proof alone that we are smarter than neurotypicals. Hear me out. It literally takes us slowing down our brain activity, disrupting our neurotransmitters, and compromising our state of awareness to feel and function like they do. The sober neurotypical mind is the equivalent to a compromised neurodivergent mind. They're literally just not our speed, and we're just out their league. Like, that's what it's given.
Hey ladies, so my last neurodivergent video went crazy. I think you guys really loved this topic, so I'm back with another spin-off of the neurodivergent conversation, and I might create a playlist. I have a looks maxing playlist, but I might create a neurodivergent girly playlist just because I know there's so much of us in this community and on this channel specifically. And I want to just discuss party culture, club culture, and socialization when it comes to beautiful women who are neurodivergent, and the things that make us feel like we blend in a little bit more when we are in social settings. For me, I definitely noticed this, but I just never was able to put it into words the way this creator just did. I have always felt like whenever I take a shot or two or have my first drink at any type of social gathering, party, event, I find that I am able to connect with people easier. I find that I'm able to have longer conversations with quote unquote neurotypical or normal people. And I find that I'm able to interact with them in a little bit more of a lighthearted way, as opposed to if I'm sober and sober-minded, I'm having deep intellectual conversation. And not everybody is on that wavelength. You know, not everybody is receptive to having conversations that are meaningful and intellectual. And for whatever reason, it's like when I dumb myself down with alcohol, like a drink or a shot or something like that in the social setting, it's like I am able to connect with neurotypical people a lot better. And I always thought that that was so interesting, and I think she finally just put it into words, is that you're slowing down certain receptors in your brain, you're slowing down certain chemicals in your brain that make you who you are so that you can interact with people who usually probably wouldn't want to interact with you. And we're going to get into some of those reasons. So for me, I think one of the reasons why we're able to connect better with people in social settings and at parties after we've had drinks is because everyone's vibration is brought down a little bit lower. Alcohol is a suppressant, and it does have a tendency to bring you down. It's a downer. So if someone is high vibrational or very high energy or very highly in tune and they take alcohol, they're being brought down to another level, another state where a lot of neurotypical people just naturally dwell. And that's not a diss, that's not anything bad, it's just energy. And so what I do notice is when we do have drinks and we're out with neurotypical people, it's like then we're brought down to their level, and then it's like you're not so threatening. Then they can actually sit and have conversations with you, and you guys can laugh and be silly about things. And while this may be beneficial for, you know, connecting with people who are really important to maybe your career progression or just socializing with people who you have to socialize with, like let's say you're at a company dinner and there's drinks going around and you happen to be the one neurodivergent person in the room, they don't have the same brain as you. You may find that before, or when you were in a work setting with them, they would avoid you, or they wouldn't really want to talk to you very long, or they had their, you know, feelings about you. But once you have a drink or once you take a shot or whatever you do, now all of a sudden it's like they can receive you better and they can talk to you, and there's a reason for that. Also, I noticed this when you go out to parties and clubs and things like that as well. I think a lot of neurodivergent girls, like, we will drink alcohol and we'll have drinks and things like that, and it kind of loosens us up. And I think that being free of inhibition and just kind of being vulnerable is what attracts neurotypical people to us when we're in that state. You have to understand too, in club and party culture, it's always a competition. With the men, it's about who's the flyest and who has the most money and is popping the most bottles. And with women, it's about who's the prettiest, who's the baddest, who got the nicest shoes on, who got the flyest outfit on, whose hair is the most popping, who's the prettiest, who's who's the most gorgeous girl in here that's getting the most attention. So when an exotical walks into a space like that, a social setting, or a beautiful woman walks into a social setting like that, people are already opposing you, especially the women. The women already don't want to talk to you. They don't want to be around you. They don't want to be buddy-buddy, kiki with you. Like, if you're one of those girls that gets into sections and there's other girls already there, I've experienced this a lot, where they won't talk to me. But when the drinks start flowing and I start to kind of relax a little bit, that's when it's like, oh girl, your shoes are cute. Oh, you're so pretty. Like, that's when I notice they start to relax a little bit. They start to woo-saw when they realize that I'm not a threat, because we're all drinking and people's minds are warped. You know what I mean? But why is it that when I'm sober and when I'm on point and I'm super, super aware of my surroundings and aware of people and I'm picking up on people's energies and funniness, it's like no one wants to talk. But the second that me and my other beautiful girls who enter the section start drinking, now all of a sudden everybody is cool with us. It's like when we weaken our spiritual gifts, it's like that's when we become more palatable for these types of people in any social setting. But yeah, I just realized we have to dumb ourselves down to be palatable for people. And how many times do we speak about this on this channel? About how it's so important that we never dumb ourselves down or decrease our worth or shrink ourselves for people's comfort. And oftentimes when you drink, you naturally energetically shrink yourself down. As neurodivergent people, we have certain gifts, we have certain abilities when it comes to our brain and how our brain works. And when you can tap into those things, it's hard for people to be able to connect with that. It's not relatable. Simple as that. It's not relatable. They can't achieve it. It's not attainable for the normal person. So for the normal person, you being able to have crazy amounts of discernment or intuition, you having the ability to feel things and know things before they happen, these types of things give you heightened abilities and heightened senses. That's not attainable for the average person. So of course the average person is going to steer clear of you. They cannot relate. And so when someone feels like they can't relate to you, they're going to just keep their distance naturally because they don't want to feel awkward themselves. So a lot of times what they'll do, even in school, like you'll see this happen with kids who are bullied and you later find out that they're neurodivergent or have some type of gift or they're really, really smart or just gifted in something. You'll realize that the people that bullied them, it wasn't so much that there was something wrong with the neurodivergent person, it was that the bullies felt weird being around that neurodivergent person. That neurodivergent person made the bully feel stupid, slow, unintelligent, remedial, like whatever you want to call it. That neurodivergent person triggered something in that person's mind or spirit to make them feel like there's something wrong with them. And so in order to fight that feeling and mitigate that feeling, they isolate the neurodivergent person. And that's why you see kids who are different being bullied, or kids who don't need groups of friends, or kids who are really, really smart at a young age and they understand group dynamics and they steer clear of that. They're usually isolated because their choices to be their own individual person, their choice to be their authentic self, makes neurotypical people uncomfortable. And they would rather make you feel weird and you feel strange and make you look like you're crazy and have something wrong with you than admit that there's something wrong with them maybe. It just makes it hard for them to look themselves in the mirror and see where they're lacking or where they need to grow or where they need to develop. So they would rather project their shortcomings onto the neurodivergent person because it's already easy to do that. You're already a target. So it's easy to put you in this box of like, oh, she's weird. Whole time they're feeling like the weird ones when they get around you because maybe they're not as quick-witted, or maybe they're not as intelligent, or maybe they have a harder time picking up on social cues like how you do, or how you pick up on body language and energy. You have certain gifts that they may not have. It's like all of a sudden now you're a threat to neurotypical people who are walking around here wearing masks. We talked about this in my last video. A lot of them are masking. They learned that being themselves at an early age was not okay. They allowed the pressures of society, friends, family, whoever, scare them into being a sheep and scare them into wearing a mask. And so that's why they sometimes, at least the toxic ones, because I know not every neurotypical person is problematic, right? Anytime I talk about any archetype of a person on this channel. I mean the toxic, weird, sociopathic, narcissistic ones, okay? So the neurotypical people who are toxic, they will tend to try to project their lack or their insecurities onto the neurodivergent person because they don't understand how you could have these gifts, how you could have these abilities, how it's so easy for you to walk alone and be a lone wolf and you don't need people. You know, these types of people, they need people, they need validation, they need praise. Again, they've been told that their way of thinking and being was wrong from a very young age. And so they're living off of this facade and mask that you don't have to live off of. And so again, that's why when neurodivergent people go out in social settings, say you're at a party, a baby shower, a wedding, a work event, I don't know, the club, and you get around neurotypical people, the second you start drinking, now all of a sudden it's, hey, get it, girl, go sis. And they want to like pump you up now, and it's because you're on that level where they are, and it makes you seem more approachable, more normal. So ladies, those are my thoughts on neurodivergent people and consuming drinks and consuming alcohol and how it affects our interactions and how it affects how we socialize. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. This is a really interesting topic, so I'm interested to see what you guys think down below. If you're a neurodivergent girly, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box so you can share your stories with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.